Hello again, ADHD folks, and non-ADHD folks, I suppose, if you're watching this. Don't know why you would be, but hello anyway. Today's video is going to be on ADHD and decision making, because the two of them go hand in hand. Well, a lack of decision making, I suppose, and difficulty with it. One of the major traits of ADHD is being unable to make quick decisions on the fly and procrastinating endlessly instead of getting done the tasks that you need to. I mentioned in the last video about the childlike brain winning out over the adult or the responsible part of your mind. And this is so appropriate when you're looking at decision making. People with ADHD find it really difficult to make the responsible choice when there might be something more exciting on offer instead. So in this video, I just want to discuss why this is the case with ADHD and how you can take some sort of practical steps to combat that as well. Information overload is one of the main causes of decision-making fatigue, particularly in people with ADHD. And when you combine that with time constraints, when you need to get things done in a set period of time, the problem itself gets much more complex. One way that you can tackle decision-making fatigue is to be somewhat closed-minded, and I say that carefully. What I mean by that is narrowing down your outcomes and your responses to whatever it is in advance to eliminate the time constraints, to give you a little bit of breathing room. So an example, if you're making a decision, for instance, on where you want to go to university, you want to give yourself plenty of time so that you can use your initiative and narrow down, using your own circumstances, obviously, the outcome based on your particular individual circumstances. So for instance, you can use things such as the money you've got available, the distance you're willing to travel, affordability of the accommodation in the area that you're looking at, to whittle down the options that you've got. When you've got these fewer options, when you've narrowed it down, it makes the final decision much more manageable because you have broken it down into smaller chunks. The second tip on how you can help with decision making is to write things down. Write down everything around the decision you can possibly think of. Get all the details down on the decision that you're making and be as detailed as you can. Write them all out on paper. Seeing the decision in front of you written out will solve the issue of information overload, because then you don't have the problem and all of its consequences floating around in your head, taking up the space that you need to make that final decision. And the last little trick to help with decision making is to, when you are making the decision, especially if it's on the fly, if it's quite a quick decision, trust your gut. There's a lot to be said for your instincts. It's obviously never going to be flawless, but usually when you go with your gut instinct, you're acting from a place of authenticity and your mind has already somewhat made the decision up. And if you trust your gut, it takes out all of the anxiety that you've got around the final outcome. So go with your instincts is what I'm trying to say, I suppose. That's all for today's quick video on decision making and how to make effective decisions if you suffer with ADHD. Let me know if you can relate to any of the issues that I've spoken about and how you manage decision-making fatigue. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, everybody.